to know this incredible hospital and this gentleman who is clearly a very amazing human being. I don't know how many of us could work nights for 23 years and find the energy, month in, month out, to do something so radical and so important for our community. So I think, although he may not like it, please give Mr. Yunus a big round of applause that he deserves for his
time. I was approached by, I would call, a sheer fate of accident by Mrs. Rahman out of the blue, and she told me all about the hospital. I went on the net, learnt about it, and then I also learned that one of my old colleagues, Mr. Bhatti, had actually initiated all of this. But for a good cause, I think we're all here for that cause. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have a story. And this is the story of a man who has gathered us here for a cause which he worked relentlessly for about 18 years. And there are two Muhammad Yunuses, really, who remind me of what they have done for the communities. One is Muhammad Yunus of Bangladesh, who started the Grameen Bank of microcredit, and look what he's done for Bangladesh and for the poverty-stricken people there. And the second one is Muhammad Yunus here, who comes from a place which is a very poor area, one of the very poor areas of Pakistan, Hafizabad, Pindi Bhattiyan. And his story, if you read, he's been inspired by his mother, by his son, and when he actually went out to get some help, there wasn't any. And there are very few people, Imran Khan is one of them, you know, who have gone from their own personal experiences and created, I think, wonders, and Muhammad Yunus is no exception. Today, really, I think the emphasis is that the hospital is there, the doctors are working, but it needs constant funds. It needs constant funds to run it. I'm really proud to say that when we see icons like Yunus, and then people like Lord Clark and Lord Christopher, Lord Ahmed, and a number of other people, Mrs. Rahman, you know, who all gather here and work for something which is so dear and so near to everyone's hearts.
Most of you will know that the purpose of tonight's activity is to inform you of the remarkable progress that has been made by the Alma Hospital Trust, and of course to raise as much money as we can. Money to provide the necessary stability to the hospital as it moves on from the long years of planning, years of fundraising, lobbying, making friends wherever we can, and yes, perhaps above all else, the dreaming that we've sometimes indulged in as the years have rolled by. Later, we shall hear more about the vision, the dream and the hopes of a somewhat unique man, my good and dear friend Yunus Mohammed. That the Alma B Hospital is now treating patients and providing the much needed medical facilities in Pindi Bhattiyan is testament itself to the determination and dedication of Yunus, the nurses and the staff of the hospital. And I would like to announce on David's behalf that he has donated £5,000 this evening towards the medical attention for maternity services in the Alma Hospital.
The Alma Hospital Trust. I've just been sort of clocking up some numbers as we've gone along, and it feels to me like we've raised about £40,000. That's brilliant. You deserve a big round. I'll applaud. You stop applauding, I'm applauding you. And also I want to say thanks to Lauren and Yusuf. There's a credit crunch on out there, but Guy, these guys can bust it. Can you get in there and shape some other things for us so we can do more of this stuff? Not only have we raised £40,000, and I think that is actually the biggest single fundraising amount we've raised with one particular piece of activity, but definitely as important is the pledges of commitment of support that we've had from the audience today. It was music to my ears, and probably will be music to my ears, that PJ Mir from ARY said that they would get behind this charity. Lauren, your numbers are wrong. It's actually not 1,000 people this hospital serves. That's 1,000 people that come through the door. It's around about 100,000, we believe, so it's a big community we're serving. We're now starting to get the local authorities in Pakistan to recognise the value of joining forces with the hospital and taking mutual benefit out of it alongside their other programmes. It was almost incredible to me to hear tonight from Eunice that they've actually bought an ambulance for the place, that they've started to think about the infrastructure that surrounds it, that makes it support its activities that are vital to its operation, like telecoms, like road networks and so on, and it will bring more value, more people's benefit of life to life, and it is so important. Opportunity very often. There are loads and loads and loads of people who support the Alma Hospital Trust. All of you here tonight, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for what you've done. But there are some very special people for me that I think I need to mention this sort of event, because without them the trust would not exist. First of all, two big organisations who often are at loggerheads with each other, but on this cause have pulled together magnificently: the Communication Workers Union and Royal Mail. Without them, this project would not exist. Their support has been fantastic throughout, and I would go as far as saying this achievement is as much an achievement for the people of those two organisations as it is for anybody else in this room. I'd also like to thank a number of businesses that have contributed and people at vital times. Without their money coming in at the time to help carry things forward, we would not be here today, we would not have a hospital, we'd have a bare piece of land and a lot of people dying unnecessarily and suffering unnecessarily. Just to name a few: HSA Healthcare, a small company called mobiles.co.uk of Watford, who gave £10,000 right at the beginning as an act of faith and belief in Mohammed Yunus. Unbelievable lift that gave to us all. Dr. Mustafa, who's left, fantastic generosity. Lord Christopher, that Tony mentioned before, and the TUUTC and their support, and a company called Masters Pharmaceuticals, who've been brilliant recently. I said I'd mention him again, and I know I'd be embarrassed about it, but Lord Clark is our patron. He is our leading patron. Without his profile that he gives us, without his commitment to getting us into this place, we would just be struggling as a small unknown charity, I'm sure. So I'd like to thank him and Lord Ahmed, who's not with us, who has also given magnificent support to us, and a number of other people in the House of Lords, but especially to Tony Clark. Please join me in giving a very important Tony a very big round of applause. And finally, because it's drifting on into an Oscars speech here, I might as well say finish off with my thanks by saying to Mrs. Rahman, to Natasha, to David Todman, who's worked steadfastly for us producing promotional materials like the video you saw today, but many others which we wouldn't be able to get our message across without. And to all the people of the House of Lords who've given us fabulous service tonight, thank you. You've made it a very pleasant evening. I'm chuffed to bits with tonight. Thank you so much. It means so much. I remember my first visit to Pakistan when we went to see the hospital facilities that were, in inverted commas, available to the people of this community. They weren't really available. They had to walk for a whole day to get to them, and they had to pay to use the money that they didn't have. I had to say, when I went to that hospital in Pindi Batian for that first time, looking at what was available to them, I would have been better off, even if I was on my deathbed, staying outside that hospital or go inside it. It was appalling. Walking into an operating theatre and your feet were sticking to the floor in congealed blood. That is the sort of scenario we had, and you had a whole day getting there. Now these people have access to a beautiful hospital that actually looks better than the plan that we drew up for it. Built largely with the work of the people, or almost exclusively with local materials and local people benefiting the local economy. It's theirs, they own it, they love it, and I love the fact that we have put that there. I love the fact that when I went back to the opening of the eye camp and served dinner to people in the ward after they'd had their eye operation, we had restored the sight of somebody who hadn't been out to sea for 20 years, and they thought it was some form of miracle, and in many ways it is. Thank you for what you've done for that. Please don't just keep this to yourself. Go out, use Facebook, use every mechanism you can, join our Facebook group, tell your mates, get everybody involved. The more they can bring, it goes to real people. Very, very little of it goes on administration and campaigning. We all do this for free, and it saves lives and makes people better. And I'll end there by just saying thanks to all of you. You've made my day, and more importantly, you've made the lives of a lot of people in Pakistan. You're wonderful. Have a lovely journey home and a lovely weekend. Thank you very much.